So first of all, it's 2010, you're serving in the army in Sierra Leone, and then you learnt of your brother's diagnosis.
That's right, yeah.
So was that what started the alarm bells?
Yeah, well, once my brother was diagnosed, I knew my dad had it, but I didn't know it was hereditary, as in at the time it was all quite quiet. So once my brother had got it and we found out that, you know, me and my sisters, my two sisters, had a 50-50 chance, I was like, whoa. So
he'd been doing a family tree,
yeah,
and as you said that your father had it and then he noticed the pattern, and your dad died I think in his 40s. He was in an asylum, wasn't he?
Yeah,
when he died. And your grandfather, as you said, and your aunt and your cousin, and your brother is now in a care home. This is all down to the faulty PSEN1 gene. Had you noticed anything in you that made you think, oh my God?
Well, to be fair, when I found out I'd done the test and they gave me a positive to say I'd got it, I was quite relieved in a way, because I'd always been slightly forgetful, and for me to learn new things, old things are okay, it was harder for me. So I was quite relieved in a way.
Well, you found, so in 2010, your brother got diagnosed and no obvious symptoms at that time, so you carried on, but it was when you were about to start your final tour in Germany and you were told that you might have to use weaponry.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it to the army then, and it was then that they sent you to Headley Court for the trials,
yeah,
and the test to see what was going to happen. And in a bizarre, weird, twisted way in fate and how life works, had you gone straight to Germany and not gone and have the tests, you wouldn't be sat here now with Vicky, because it was at that time that you two met.
Yeah.
And when you met her and you saw her, you said you knew that she was going to be the one for you.
Yeah. You know, the chat-up line was, I just walked past her and said, nice teeth, and just walked off.
So bad.
But listen, it worked.
So, no, I walked off.
Oh.
You had to try again.
So you obviously got to know each other very well. At what point did you find out what you, as a partner, were going to be coping with?
Well, when I met Chris, he was really open about it. So we spoke for hours and hours, didn't we, the next day on the phone, and he explained to me that he was at Headley Court. He'd had this gene confirmed and that they were running tests until they knew what they were going to do with him next, basically. We kind of just thought that was it. He'd just be deployed to, not to Germany, but maybe to somewhere else. And it wasn't until the day after I found out I was expecting Dexter.
Oh, wow.
That we realised that, I think the way it's been described in the book, as the bomb had gone off.
Yeah.
So I Googled it, and like you would, because I was curious and thought, well, early onset Alzheimer's is sort of 55. So I thought, I got, you know, some 17 years before we even see it as a sign of it.
And that wasn't the news that the doctor gave you at all. I mean, he said you had 7 years.
Yeah. What does he know?
Yeah. Probably only got another 7 good years left. That was what we were told.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
You're pregnant.
Yeah.
You find this out about the guy that you've just met. Not how you imagine to start a relationship.
Oh.
No, not really. It was all a bit of a roller coaster.
I bet.
But you just get on with it, don't you? That's all you can do.
Well, you
really.
Well, some
Definitely
people do. Some people fall apart. Some
Yeah.
people get on with it. You really got on with it because this was the challenge, and your deterioration, you think, has been certainly slowed down. It's not that you're not where they thought you'd be.
Yeah,
and that's possibly down to your supreme fitness, which you had to be for this challenge.
Yeah.
Why did you pick this one?
Well, I did think about running around, but I thought that was a bit of a tall order. So I thought, well, biking, I don't know much about bikes. I can ride one, obviously, but I don't know all the ins and outs of them. So I thought, the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, I'll cycle it. And it just went from there.
And so why America and Canada?
Well, both are predominantly English-speaking. Obviously down in the Mexican border, a bit more Mexican, but... and I thought, you know, I've always liked North America. I've got quite a few mates.
I like lots of places. I wouldn't necessarily want to cycle around them.
Yeah, there's an army base in Bathurst in Canada for the British Army, so I just thought, yeah,
that's a good place to go.
Yeah.
And the weather was the most challenging thing. I mean, you went through blizzards, you went through the desert, you've still got tan lines, and this was goodness how long ago. Quite extraordinary, but you were instrumental in helping him do this.
Yeah, his sat-nav equipment failed, like, 2 days in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd kind of got a rough idea of where he was going to go. We hadn't picked towns or anything like that. He just kind of had, that's the circuit. And the first day he sort of contacted me, with the initial faux pas, which was he had not factored in that campsites don't open until 7 weeks after he got there.
Oh, no.
So he had a bit of a, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere, I probably need a motel.
Can you help me?
Can you help me? So this is like 1 o'clock in the morning, so I had to pump up the laptop and look at Google
And you were
Maps.
back home?
I was back home, so I'm nursing a 3-month-old Dexter with a on one arm, laptop on the other arm. And then it kind of just sort of went from there, and I found myself in the end every day checking his
where he was going,
the wind speed, the weather. I had to pull him off the road because he was cycling into a supercell one day, and there was nothing for 60 miles for him to run to or cycle to. So there were all sorts of things.
How much did you raise?
I think it was what
It was over 50,000.
50,000, yeah.
Wow, well done.
And where's it going to?
It's going to Alzheimer's research and some to the Army Benevolent Fund.